My child, I know the version of you that others never truly encountered. The one who smiled through silent sorrow, who poured out love while running on empty. The one who led, served, and encouraged others, all while quietly carrying unanswered prayers, soul-deep weariness, and wounds you never named. I saw the tears you swallowed before they ever touched your cheeks. I heard the prayers that trembled through your lips in whispers too soft for anyone to catch. I felt the ache you couldn't find words for. And now, I speak directly to that version of you. The resilient you who kept moving forward while wondering, does anyone even realize what this is costing me? Yes, I saw it. And I'm not ignoring it. I'm healing it. They applauded your strength. I noticed your strain. They admired your stability. I saw the inner storm. You were celebrated for your composure, your gifts, your calling. But I knew what it took for you to hold it all together. Hear me clearly. I never asked you to perform strength. I only asked you to be real, not for their approval, but for my healing. This is not cosmetic healing that polishes the surface. This is the sacred mending that restores the whole of you. Not the version applauded by the world, but the part that never felt safe to be seen. The part that feared vulnerability might be misread as weakness. The version of you that overgave, overadapted, overfunctioned, and stayed silent to keep a peace that excluded you. You've lived in survival mode so long, you forgot what safe feels like. But you've never been invisible to me. And now, I'm gently calling that version out of hiding. You've done well, beloved, truly. I'm not here to rebuke you. I'm here to reach for you. Because you've kept going, but forgotten how to rest in being mine. You've built rhythms that exclude rest, outpaced your own emotions, and collapsed behind closed doors. Now I'm inviting you into stillness, not just to do more for me, but to be with me. No more filters, no more smiling through bleeding, no more pretending you're fine when you're fraying. Let me go to the places others ignored, the silent disappointment you buried, the dreams you stopped speaking about, the exhaustion no one asked about because you always showed up anyway. I'm not afraid of any of it. You don't have to explain it. Just invite me into it. Let me hold the version of you that was never held. Let me sit with your fears, your frustrations, your confusion, and not flinch. I'm not healing you to make you useful. I'm healing you because you matter. Before your calling, before your leadership, before the weight of expectation. You are mine. This healing isn't about productivity. It's about proximity. You're not being repaired to perform. You're being restored to belong. When you let me into the places you've guarded, you'll remember who you were before the pressure, before the performing, before the pace. Your soul will breathe again. The fog will lift, and you'll feel me again. This is not a confrontation to get you moving. It's an invitation to let me know you. You've held it together long enough. Now, let me hold you, not in front of those who lack the grace to handle your heart, but with me, where your unraveling becomes sacred ground. I'm not coming with judgment. I'm coming with oil. Oil that doesn't just soothe, it seals. It protects as I lead you into a new season, not of more doing, but of deeper dwelling. You're not going backward. You're going inward. From this inward place, I will build something stronger than anything you could create through striving. I will renew your joy, reawaken your wonder, and restore the parts of you that stopped dreaming, because hope started to feel like betrayal. You're not just due for a new assignment. You're due for a new awareness of my love, for the parts of you no one saw, but I always did. This is where the healing begins. So come as you are, not with performance, but with presence, not with a plan, but with surrender. Let me rebuild the you that smiles without pressure, the you that hears my voice before the world's opinions, the you that feels safe being vulnerable, the you that knows, I am enough. That's the version I'm restoring, not because it's efficient, but because it's eternal. I'm completing what I began, what I whispered to you in the hush of earlier seasons. The dreams you quietly abandoned, they are not dead. They've simply been sleeping. Now, I want you to recognize not just signs of healing, but the first stirrings of glory. Not loud miracles, not dazzling proof, but sacred subtleties. I move in rhythms of rest. I speak in quiet patterns. And right now, I'm weaving evidence through your everyday moments. The calm where anxiety once ruled, that's a sign. The clarity in your soul, even before circumstances shift, another sign. The way others sense something new in your presence, without you saying a word, that's me. You don't need to force what I've promised. You only need to notice it's already rising. Just as spring doesn't arrive with a parade, but with a gentle thaw, so too, your new season begins, not with a shout, but with fruit cracking through old soil. What was once buried beneath sorrow, shame, or silence is now breaking surface, not because you willed it, but because I've been watering it in the dark. Expect moments of unusual kindness, words of affirmation from people who know nothing of your pain. Doors will open, not with drama, but with ease. And dreams will return, not to torment you, but to invite you to believe again. Pay attention to what keeps repeating. That phrase you keep hearing? That scripture that finds you over and over? Those thoughts that visit you in stillness? They are not coincidences. They are confirmations. I'm restoring your expectation, one holy echo at a time. The part of you that stopped hoping is being stirred again, not into reckless longing, but into rooted confidence. Where dreaming once felt foolish, it will now feel like obedience. I'm drawing you back to the promises you shelved because they hurt to hold, to the prayers you buried because silence lasted too long. I never forgot. I never discarded the dreams. I held them. And you, through time's unfolding. Soon, you'll feel momentum, not just through open doors, but through internal permission. You'll know it's time, not because someone said so, but because my peace will settle so deeply in your soul that you will rise and say, I was born for this. And that moment will not pass you by. I've preserved it, protected it, timed it for you. Favor is coming, not just an opportunity, but an alignment. People whose presence resonates with your healing, whose words affirm your calling, without needing your backstory. Watch for divine intersections, connections that don't drain you, but fill you. I am surrounding you with peace, with partnership, with prophetic clarity. Some signs will arrive through release. Things that once consumed you will quietly fade. Responsibilities born of fear will lose their grip. You'll stop fighting to keep alive what I've already called finished. And in that letting go, new life will grow. Joy will re-enter, this time without anxiety attached. That's me. That's my voice whispering. Let go. I've got it now. This is more than restoration. This is repositioning. You're not going back to who you were. You're becoming who you always were. My signs may not always make sense in the moment, but they'll align with my word, with my peace, and with the deep desires I planted in your soul. Trust them. Trust me. You are not circling aimlessly. You are walking into fullness. And this is how it starts. Quietly, personally, powerfully. Now that healing has begun, so has fulfillment. And because healing has reached the unseen places of your heart, it's time I teach you to walk this out. Not for a few days, but for a lifetime. Because what I've healed in you is not meant to be revisited occasionally. It's meant to be sustained. And the faith you need for that is not loud. It is anchored. I'm not calling you to strive. I'm inviting you to abide. What I'm building with you now isn't just a breakthrough. It's a rhythm, a life rooted in my presence, formed by my word, and steadied by my peace. Start by making space for me, not just when it's convenient, but when it's crucial. Begin your day with stillness. Even if your mind is cluttered, even if your heart is heavy, don't wait for crisis to reach for me. Come as you are, groggy, scattered, silent. I'm not after performance. I'm after presence. When you seek me first, I'll order the rest. I'll pour out strength you didn't know you needed, wisdom you didn't think to ask for, peace that surpasses understanding. Come to my word not as a chore, but as a balm. Let it gently confront. Let it deeply comfort. Let it rewrite the lies you've lived with. Read slowly. Ask questions. Write what stirs. Let truth take root. Keep your prayers real. Tell me everything before it hardens. Pray when you're angry. Pray when you're numb. Pray when the noise is too loud or the silence too deep. Let me into your reactions, your pace, your plans. I'll guide you where to pause, where to press, where to release. I'm not shaping a disciplined soldier. I'm forming a trusted friend. Worship like it's your weapon. When heaviness comes, lift your voice. Raise your hands even when your heart is weary. Worship doesn't ignore reality. It declares what is more real. Fast when I whisper, not as a performance, but to make space. Not everything you release will be sinful, but some things simply stand in my way. Let me unclutter your life. Guard your environment. You've been through too much to let chaos have the final say. Learn your triggers. Learn your peace. I'll help you build boundaries, not to isolate, but to consecrate. Joy is part of your healing too. Real joy, unapologetic laughter. Not pretending, but embracing. Let wonder return. Smile without permission. You're not betraying your pain. You're declaring that grief didn't win. Your heart can feel again. That's restoration too. Above all, stay close. When fruit appears, don't drift. When momentum builds, don't forget. This healing is not a moment. It's a way of living, a new breath, a sacred rhythm. And I will walk with you through every step, not as a visitor, but as your constant companion. I'm not asking you to do more. I'm asking you to remain. Remain, and you won't just preserve this healing. You'll multiply it. Now, my beloved, let me speak into your identity. I saw how pain twisted not just your emotions, but your image of yourself. You thought your strength was survival. You began to believe your worth was in your usefulness. That tenderness made you weak. That silence was safety. But those were never the names I gave you. I'm not just repairing what was broken. I'm restoring who you are. You were never meant to hold everyone else together at the cost of your soul. You were never designed to mask your depths. You were never created to shrink for others' comfort. Those were trauma's disguises, not heaven's assignments. Now hear me clearly. You can stop performing. I don't want the version of you that made them comfortable. I want the one I designed. The one who feels deeply, who speaks softly but walks strongly, who carries beauty in quietness. You are not too much. You are not too quiet. You are not broken. You are mine, and I made you to carry my presence. That's why you've always been sensitive. That's why you've always felt different. You weren't made to fit in. You were made to carry depth. The enemy tried to use that depth against you. He said your wiring was flawed. He said your tears disqualified you. But I say, your tears revealed you. They proved your capacity. You wept and still worshiped. You broke and still believed. You questioned and still trusted. That is what I honor. That is who I'm raising. You are not fragile. You are not to be pitied. You are someone I trust. Because when it hurt, you still brought me your heart. I never wanted your perfection. I always wanted you. So now, I'm restoring your identity, not through the lens of pain or public demand, but through the lens of belovedness. You are not defined by the doors that didn't open. You are defined by the one who called you, and he still does. You are not defined by what broke you. When your voice trembled, know this, you are not branded by the winters where you went unnoticed. You are etched in me, and I call you whole, anointed, sheltered, known, chosen. From this moment forward, you owe no apology for your architecture. You do not need to dim your discernment to preserve another's comfort. You do not need to cloak your softness in armor to endure. What once made you feel exposed is now the mantle of your authority. What once made you question your worth now pulses as your strength. You are no longer grasping to be enough. You are rooted in the knowing that you were always more than enough. Formed not in deficiency, but in divine love. This is your name. Seen when they overlooked you. Validated when they dismissed you. Healed where they mishandled you. And because of this, you will move differently now. You no longer chase a seat. The table was always yours. You no longer contort your cadence. Your voice is fluent in heaven's dialect. You no longer shift your shape to fit. You were pre-approved by the one who crafted galaxies and still says yes to you. So lift your head. Let the burdens fall. Let the masks crack and crumble. Let the striving rest. You don't need to become anything else to be usable. You just need to become you. The true you. The unfiltered, deep-welled, tender, prophetic, sensitive, still standing you. That's the one I'm releasing. That's the one I'm lifting. That's the one I'm healing. Not to hide again, but to blaze. You are not the shadow left by pain. You are the essence I carried through it. Now that your heart is recalibrated to truth, now that the identity I authored is rising again, I want to give you the rhythms that protect what I've revived. Because the wholeness I'm cultivating in you is not delicate. It is not fleeting. It is not a touch. It's a transformation. It's a new cadence of living. To walk as the whole you must protect your inner atmosphere. Walk with me not only in the high moments, but in the mundane sacred, the in-between, the early morning fog, the everyday choosing. Let's begin here. Give me your mornings, not as a performance, but as partnership. Wake up with me, even groggy, even late. Give me the first flicker of your awareness. Let me be your first voice, your first inhale, your first knowing. Before you scroll, sit. Before you plan, speak. You don't need poetry, just presence. I will meet you in your honesty. I will anchor your soul before anxiety tries to claim it. That space, our space, doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be open. Open my word, not to conquer it, but to let it read you. Let it breathe on places untouched. Linger in a verse. If something stirs, pause. Ask me. Let scripture be your sanctuary again. Not a task, a conversation, a mirror, a map. I've hidden treasures there, gems that only unfold in stillness. And as you come back, again and again, those sacred lines will rewire the story's pain once authored. Lies will dissolve. Truth will move in. Talk to me all day. I am not a Sunday portion. I want your Monday musings, your Wednesday pivots, your Friday fatigue. Whisper my name in the chaos. Let me tune your tone before you speak. Let me shift your posture before you move. Prayer is not performance. It is presence. And I am here. When you live aware of me, peace saturates the unseen edges of your life. Worship, not just when the music swells, but when the day drags. Sing until shame unhooks. Repeat the song if it brings stillness. Let it wash over your ache until truth rises. You don't need a crowd. You need connection. Fast when I prompt you, not as ritual, as refocus. I'll show you what to quiet. A voice, a habit, a distraction. Not always because it's sinful, but because it's loud. And I want you to hear me. Fasting thins the noise. It sharpens the soul. It makes room for revelation. Guard your soul space. You're not fragile, but you are sacred. Not everything amusing is nourishing. Not every conversation is consecrated. Notice what unsettles. That's me sharpening your discernment. Not to judge, but to protect what is holy inside you. Ask me what stays, what must go, and I will show you. Surround yourself with life speakers, people who honor your softness, who don't ask you to shrink to be loved. You don't need many. You need alignment. I'll bring voices that confirm, not confuse, what I'm resurrecting. Keep record of what I whisper. Write the dreams, the verses, the shifts. These are not musings. They are altars. In foggy seasons, they will re-anchor your clarity. And finally, breathe. Stay near. Let me tell you again, and again, and again. You are healed. You are held. You are being made whole. This is not a moment. It's a movement, a becoming. You will never again have to edit yourself to be loved, used, or covered, because I'm healing the real you, the version untouched by masks. And that's the one carrying glory. Now listen, clearly, prophetically. The shift has already begun, not because of external proof, but because your spirit is now aligned. You're no longer surviving from the version they couldn't see. You're rising from the one I always knew. And now, change isn't just on the way. It's in motion. The healing you let me begin in the unseen is about to be undeniable. To you, to them, even to the pieces of you still unsure if goodness can last. This is not emotional release. This is spiritual ascension. Confusion will dissolve. Clarity will land. Your silence will now carry sound. Your quietness will carry weight. You're not returning to the you before the fracture. You're becoming the you that bloomed beyond it. You'll enter rooms that once swallowed you. Now they will fit. You'll speak and people will lean in. Not because you're louder, but because your words carry oil. I'm putting favor on the healed version of you, not the polished you, not the pretending you, the one who let me touch the ache and still stayed soft. That's who I'm sending. That's who I'm raising. That's who I'm covering in glory. Reversal is coming, not just spiritual, but visible. Honor will flow where once misunderstanding thrived. Draining places will no longer pull from you. Access will be revoked. Peace will be protected. I'm repositioning your name, not for attention, but for assignment. Doors you mourned will open, not because you knocked, but because they swing toward purpose. Where restoration is possible, I will restore. Where it's not, I will release. Peacefully, because what I raise, I also shelter, and no one can take credit for what I'm about to do. This next season will say one thing loudly. God healed the one no one saw, and now they carry glory, and you'll feel it. Acceleration. What took years will move in weeks. Your decisions will be peaceful. Your confirmations, obvious. Your confidence, quiet but unshakable. This isn't pride. It's presence-born knowing. Even time is being redeemed. The seasons you mourned? I'm weaving them into fruit. The tears behind closed doors? I'm turning them into testimony. When your voice trembled, it didn't mark your identity. You are not measured by the winters where your worth felt lost. You are defined by me, and I call you radiant, set apart, shielded, known, selected, liberated. From this moment forward, you owe no apology for your divine wiring. You do not need to mute your inner wisdom to comfort others. You do not have to bury the tenderness of your spirit to endure. What once felt like weakness will now be your mantle. What once made you question your value will become your weapon. You are no longer grasping to be enough. You know you were always overflowing because I crafted you in love, never from void. This is who you truly are. Affirmed when others ignored. Validated where others dismissed. Mended where others mishandled. And because of that, your posture is changing. You don't have to chase a seat. You don't need to justify your voice. You don't have to adjust to be accepted. You've already been chosen by the one who sees you fully and says yes. So lift your gaze. Let the burdens fall. Drop the masks. Cease the striving. You don't need to become anything else to be used. Just be you, the unveiled, unfiltered, perceptive, deep-rooted, spirit-soaked you. That's the version I'm elevating. Not to retreat again, but to blaze. You are not the one pain tried to silence. You are the one I carried through it. Now that your heart has come back to truth, now that your real name has been reawakened, I want to place within you the cadence that protects what I've restored. This healing isn't delicate. It isn't fleeting. It's not a moment. It's a movement. And to walk in this newness, you must guard your garden. Walk with me not just in mountaintop moments, but in quiet, mundane mornings. So start here. Give me your sunrise. Not for performance, but for partnership. Even if it's 5 breath-long minutes. Let me be your first voice, your first thought, your first awareness. Be with me before you scroll. Speak with me before you plan. No eloquence, just honesty. I'll meet you there. I'll calm your inner seas. I'll whisper steadiness before stress tries to settle. That space doesn't need perfection, only openness. Open my word, not to master, but to be ministered to. Let it speak to you, read you, reform you. If one verse breathes fire into you, pause. Ask me what I'm saying. Scripture is not an obligation. It's your sanctuary, your mirror, your compass. In stillness, I'll reveal what pain once tried to erase. The lies will unravel, and truth will no longer be something you visit. It will be something you embody. Talk with me throughout your day, not just on Sundays, but in Tuesday tension and Thursday silence. In your mental traffic and relational storms, invite me in. Prayer is not a performance. It is presence. And when you live aware of me, Peace becomes the atmosphere of your entire existence. Worship not just when the chords are loud, but when your bones feel heavy. When the world overwhelms, let your voice rise. Play that same song again if it brings stillness. Sing the words until they're not just lyrics, but your internal reality. Worship until the shame shatters, until clarity returns, until peace reignites. You don't need a crowd. You need connection, and I'll come every time. Fast when I nudge you, not for ritual, but to refine focus. When I ask you to quiet something, a voice, a craving, a crutch, it's not always sin. Sometimes it's just too loud. And I want you to hear me more clearly. Fasting will soften your spirit, sharpen your sense, and carve space for revelation. When I lead you to release something, trust me, it's never random. There's always glory on the other side of obedience. Protect your atmosphere. You're not fragile, you're precious. And that sacred sensitivity is your strength. Be mindful of what nourishes your soul. Not all entertainment edifies. Not every conversation is meant for your ears. Peace is your indicator. If something consistently disrupts your rest, ask me about it. I'll show you what to let go of and what is safe to stay. Surround yourself with those who bless your softness, who celebrate your depth. You don't need many, you need alignment. And I'll bring voices that confirm what I've spoken, not confuse what I'm healing. Not every connection is covenant. Journal what I whisper. Capture the confirmations. Write the revelation, not as random thoughts, but as altars. You'll return to them on cloudy days and say, "This is what God said. This is what He's doing in me." And finally, breathe. Stay close. Let me say it again. You are whole. You are held. You are being made complete daily. This is not restoration as a feeling. This is a reformation of your walk. And now, because you've let me in, you'll never again need to hide who you are to be loved, covered, or used. I am healing the real you, and that's the version that will carry glory.